In a quest for Germany's expanding role in Africa, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is on a 3-day tour of Senegal, Niger, and South Africa. During this first trip to Africa, the Chancellor is pursuing several German strategic interests. One is Germany's desperate need to find alternative sources to replace its energy currently derived from Russia. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has made it urgent. Germany is hoping to tap Senegal's gas as a replacement. Mr. Scholz will visit a solar power plant in Senegal during the visit. In Niger, Mr. Scholz will visit German troops and discuss the lengthy battle against jihadists. In June, Germany will host the G7. It has already invited Senegal and South Africa to the summit, where they hope to seal the deals Mr. Scholz will be negotiating in Africa. In Nigeria, the head of a lawmaker in Anambra State, Mr. Okechukwu Okoye, was seen on the ground in Amici days after his kidnapping. Until his death, Mr. Okoye represented Agwata North constituency at the State Assembly in Oka. He was kidnapped on May 15 in Umuona, in Agwata local government area. Mr. Okoye represented Governor Charles Soludo's constituency. The governor has condemned the killing. Since he resumed office as governor in March, he has been doing everything to quell the insecurity in the state. He has made outreach to the indigenous people of Biafra, including visiting the leader Nnamdi Kanu, who is currently facing trial in Abuja for treason. No group has claimed responsibility for the death of Mr. Okoye. A note left beside the head warned all security operatives in the southeast to leave. I'm Chido Onuma. It is 8:30 a.m. in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
It is 11:30 a.m. in New York City.
It's 4:30 p.m. in Nigeria.
It is 5:30 p.m. in South Africa. Wherever in the world you are joining us, welcome to another edition of 90 Minutes Africa. On our show today, we have Mr. Dele Momodu, a presidential aspirant under the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP. Mr. Momodu, welcome to the show.
Evening from Lagos, Nigeria.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. How is the campaign going?
So far, so good. It's not yet a full-blown campaign. It's a strategic campaign for us to be able to get our delegates to look towards us and present us as the candidate of the party in the presidential election next year.
Thank you. I'm sure you have a lot to say, not just about the campaign, about other issues in Nigeria. I would take my exit soon, and my co-host Rudolph would anchor the rest of the program. But before I do, I'd like to ask one question, which is something that has generated a lot of interest and more or less tearing the country apart, so to say, the death, the immolation of Deborah Samuel by fellow students in Sokoto State at the Shehu Shagari College of Education. What's your take on that? And also, why is there a problem that other presidential aspirants appear not to be speaking up on this particular issue?
Let me put it this way. The assassination and almost premeditated murder of Deborah in Sokoto happened just days after I left the state capital. I was on a visit to His Eminence, the Sultan, who incidentally is the head of Muslims. Many Muslims defer to him and they see him as the leader in Nigeria. He was a former military officer, but a very well-educated, very cerebral monarch, well-respected. So I spent 2 nights with him in his private quarters. And for me, it does not come across someone who would tolerate, religious fundamentalism. So I mean, getting that news rattled me. And of course, I crafted my response. I condemned it unequivocally. And I don't know why other aspirants were afraid to speak up. I was told they are afraid that they will lose votes in the north. I don't believe so. A lot of our politicians are just selfish and chicken-hearted. Nigeria can burn to hell, they don't care. For as long as there is an election, they are more interested in the election than in the next generation. Deborah belongs in that generation, and it's unfortunate that she was hacked down, and most of our so-called leaders were not ready to rise up to the occasion. And that's all I will say. But I made sure I spoke up. I am a child of diversity. I come from both backgrounds of Christianity and Islam. My grandparents were Muslims. My parents were Christians. I bear the name of Prophet Muhammad Momodu. I'm a Christian. My Christian name is Joseph. So religion, I've not read anywhere, whether in the Quran or in the Bible, that you should kill your fellow human being for any reason whatsoever. And that's why I condemned it very, very frontally.
Thank you so much, Mr. Momodu. Yesterday, I am sure you noticed there was the Million Man March for Mr. P2B, who is also competing with you to be the candidate of the PDP. Before this show, we posted on social media that we were going to interview you. And some of the comments we got were from people who were saying, where are your million followers? What do you think about P2B as a candidate? And do you think that he's getting momentum and that there's a chance that your party will nominate him as the candidate?
I cannot speak about who the party would nominate as the candidate, but Mr. Peter Obi happens to be my very good friend. We live about 5 minutes apart in Lagos. I've visited him. He hasn't visited my home. Visited him many times in the past. I have tremendous regards for him, and I believe it is mutual. I have it in writing from him that he respects the way I've conducted my campaign so far. I'm a man of decorum. I respect his brains. I respect his frugality. I think we share that in common. I believe that Nigerian politicians cannot change Nigeria. They are hardcore politicians. They are profligate. They are there just to engage in enjoyment as if every day is Christmas. As for the 1 million march, I have no intention of doing that because that does not mean that the delegates are going to look my way. I'm not sure of what will happen later this week during our primary, but I'm campaigning for myself. I'm using my own strategy. I'm reaching millions of people as I speak to you. I'm live simultaneously with you. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, which means I'm being watched globally. And that for me is more important than carrying crowd. If the crowd want to do it for him, I congratulate him for that opportunity. But I will also want him to try and persuade other Igbo aspirants to step down for him.
All right, Chido, you have any question? You are muted, Chido.
Go political since I won't continue on the show. But I wanted to, one of the things you said, controversial things you said about politics in Nigeria, which has a lot to do with even the election we're going into in next year. It's about the owners of Nigeria. Is it possible to know these owners of Nigeria? And if it's not possible to know them, you think they are now willing to remove their stranglehold on Nigeria to have fresh voices like yours and other people to actually take control of the country?
Well, I was the first to publicly to pound the theory about the owners of Nigeria. Not just the one on Arise News, which is very recent, but as far back as 1998-99, when Chief Olufalaye was contesting against General Olusegun Obasanjo, and I supported Chief Olufalaye. I've always supported technocrats. I like technocrats. So I suggested to Chief Olufalaye that he should pick a cerebral northerner as his running mate. And I suggested the name of Dr. Rinwan Lukman, who was at OPEC in Vienna, Austria. So I traveled to Austria to speak to him, and I tried to persuade him to come back home to join Chief Olufalaye. Of course, he told me no. And I asked, why not? Why don't you want to be the vice president of your country? He told me clearly that the owners of Nigeria had decided that he will be the next president of Nigeria. And I asked him, won't there be elections? He said, I should forget about elections, that the owners of Nigeria don't sleep. And that if I was with him till about 2, 3 a.m., he would have made calls to Nigeria and I would have seen that the owners of Nigeria would be at their meetings. So that was where that theory came from. And if you want to know some of the owners of Nigeria, they are in various categories. The first platform are the military generals. Today, I think the most obvious of all of them will be Baba Obasanjo, because they defer to him. He's probably the biggest African statesman after Nelson Mandela. So a lot of his colleagues, including those who were even generals before him, like General Gawan, they all defer to him. He's well respected internationally. So you have Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president. Of course, you have President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, who I visited exactly a week today. Last Sunday, I was in Mina. And next door to him, of course, is General Absalami Abubakar, who I also visited just last Sunday after I left former President Babangida. One of them passed on, may Allah bless his soul. General Wushishi passed on a few months back. And so you have the generals, and then you have some of the former presidents and head of state like Gawan, like Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, and so on and so forth. The second layer, of course, you have the traditional institutions. And in that category, you will have the Sultan, you will have the Oni of Ife, you will have the Obi of Onitsha, because they also have to confer the Emir of Kano, the Emir of Gwandu, and so many of them like that. So they have to also consult the traditional institutions because they have direct control of their subjects. You have the Islamic scholars, you have the Christian, leaders, and then, of course, you have the business class. In that category, you have the Aliko Dangotes, the Jim Ovias, the Makadenugas, the Absamad Rabius, the Femi Otedolas, the Tony Elumelus. So they are in that category. And their interest is usually a common interest, that they want someone who is reasonable enough for them to be able to do business with. That's as far as I will put it today.
All right. Let's go off that. Go a little bit, because Major Al Mustafa, who you will know was Abacha's chief security officer, he also said that there are 56 people eating Nigeria like termites. He said that they are richer than Nigeria, and that he said if you give them 6 months vacation leave, then Nigeria will become rich. He said they are eating Nigeria like termites. I know you disagree with him. I know that he locked you, or he wanted to lock you up, or he locked you up. I know. But I want to say, are they the same people? Are you talking about the same people? You are owners of Nigeria, and his idea of 56 people who are eating Nigeria today?
I wouldn't know the 50 people.
He didn't mention names. Yeah, he didn't mention names.
So I can't speak for him. Someone should have asked him who they were. I mentioned the names of people that I know, who who fall within the category of owners of Nigeria. But with my brother, Al Mustafa, he was in the system. And so he will probably know them. But I know sometimes these things are exaggerated. In Nigeria, you will hear that somebody has stolen $30 billion. Of course, what is the total worth of Nigeria? So reasonable people should ask such questions. As far as I know, I don't think that Babangida or General Absalami have that kind of money. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say that we have people who do business. Maybe if he says they are favored all over the world, there are people who sponsor governments, even in America. You know, there are sponsors, there are people who will sponsor candidates so that they can have favorable conditions attached to their businesses when the government comes in. So if you say Alhaji Aliko Dangote is a very rich man, of course, he needs an enabling environment for his business to continue to thrive. If you say Femi Otedola is a billionaire, he needs an enabling environment, but it does not mean they have stolen Nigeria's money. It's just that they have used their business acumen. Okay, that is what you call capitalism. That's what capitalism is all about. It is the exploitation of a system. But I'm more of a welfareist. I believe that while it is good for people to make a lot of money if they work very hard for it, but they should also have compassion and pity on the ordinary man on the street and make sure they can provide employment, they can provide, security, they can provide electricity, and so on and so forth. So welfare system is what I would advocate. So by about 56 people eating the entire Nigeria, I don't think that is possible.
But do you think that the owners of Nigeria, that there are the problems of Nigeria? Do you think that is the same thing or no?
I guess we all seek influence. I don't know of anybody who would not want to be influential. So we are the ones carrying ourselves to them. I don't think they've invited any politician to come and visit them. And we go for various reasons. In my own case, I didn't go now because I want their support. I've always interacted. I told President Abangda last week, I said, we have been interacting since he was in Northern Barracks. As a journalist, my job is to interact with everybody. A good journalist is as good as the sources available to him. And God has blessed me with those sources. So for me, I don't really know.
Okay.
If,
I got the point. I got the point. Let me play a video and get your reaction because it's very important.
Can you honestly?
All right. Just a minute.
Can you honestly, truly say to yourself that our country has changed for the better? Are our children safe when they go to school? Are our parents safe when we leave them at home? Is the naira in your bank account of greater value today than it was 4 years ago? I, Muhammad Buhari, I am urging you to have your PVC, and on election day, you go peacefully and vote and make sure your vote counts.
All right. That was Muhammadu Buhari campaigning in 2015, and you supported him. A lot of people are commenting that you are one of the people who brought Buhari to us. And let me play another video of what you think is the problem with Buhari. You, in an interview, said this is the problem with Muhammadu Buhari.
What Buhari has done and why Buhari is in this kind of problem is because some Nigerians seem to be more important to him than the others. I have friends everywhere. When I went to Maiduguri, I slept in Alhaji Kashim Ibrahim's house. How? We've been friends of over 20 years. He's APC. He left his bedroom.
All right. So this is if you want to expand on this, because it's one of the things that people take against you, that you supported Buhari, and you are saying that the problem with Buhari's government, why he didn't do well, is that some people are more important to him than others. So is that the bottom line of what happened?
Well, let me repeat it here, that my support for Buhari was voluntary. My support for Buhari was because out of two evils, I had to choose one. At that time, Nigerians generally agreed that PDP was fumbling, and as such, they needed an alternative. And so the only alternative that we had was the one offered by APC, and that's Buhari as their candidate. And when I noticed that he was derailing, I started writing memos to him. On one occasion, he invited me to meet with him in Aso Rock. We met, just the two of us, in a room. I told him a piece of my mind. I gave him a compilation of my writings, how I had advised other leaders before him and how I will continue to advise him. And I left. I met him maybe once or twice thereafter. Now, when I saw that his case had become irredeemable, I apologized publicly. I don't know how many politicians have done that. I apologized publicly, and I continue to apologize. And I'm apologizing right now to Nigerians that I made that mistake, but that's how I'll leave it. As to the problem is about a man who tries to make some Nigerians more important than the others, just like we read in George Orwell's Animal Farm. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than the others. In a country, you must not discriminate against anyone, whether they are your friends or not, whether they are your family or not, whether they are from your clan or not. You must never. A leader instantly becomes the father of the nation. The day Dele Momodu becomes the president of Nigeria, you can be sure that there will be crime and punishment. If it is my wife or my children who are involved, I will sign it up front. They will be punished. That is what our leaders have not been able to do. So the problem with President Buhari is that he has this mindset that he must not touch his people, that he exists only for his people. He is the president, he's not a traditional ruler. A traditional ruler can behave like that, not the president of a country.
All right, that's a very good answer. Let me show you another video of you talking about the problem with today's politics in Nigeria, and then I'll follow it up with a question about ideas. You were talking about ideas as part of the issue.
If you look at the political parties, it has suddenly become a contest of money bags and not a contest of ideas. Nigeria has deteriorated to the days when we had ideologues, when we had the Awolowos, the Azikiwes, intellectuals, who will come to the table to discuss robust ideas. Today, contestants, aspirants are boasting openly about how much they have ready to fight the battle.
All right. That's a wonderful thing to say. And one of the ideas on the table today is the idea being propagated by foremost nationalist Ayo Adebanjo. And the idea is that for the country to have equity, that the presidency should go to the southeast. Why is he wrong?
Why is who wrong?
Ayo Adebanjo. Is he wrong?
I've never said anywhere that is wrong.
Oh no, I didn't say you said, but I thought that if you are running,
that is Baba's opinion.
Okay.
His father. I went home with him from Chief Doyokupe's 70th birthday event. We went home together. I spent hours in his house, and I know what we discussed. And I told him my views, and I'm ready to repeat those views here. That yes, there's nothing wrong. Nobody has campaigned more for the Igbo nation than Dele Momodu, not even Igbo themselves. I too can play a tape here of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, released February last year, where he openly acknowledged that if Nigerian leaders behave like Dele Momodu, there will be nothing called Biafra, that nobody will fight about Biafra. It is not just about where you come from. It must be about the people. The Igbo nation has had almost a near monopoly of the National Assembly, especially the Senate. And what have those leaders, Igbo leaders, done for the Igbo people? These are questions that I've raised with Baba. That's why it's not just about, if you give me a Peter Obi, I will support him. But it doesn't mean that any Igbo leader you bring, I will not accept. So that's where we differ. And this is also a matter of strategy. Election has a lot to do with mathematics. It's not a game of emotion alone. Emotion is very good, but emotion evaporates where mathematics take over. And I will give you an example. Where are the votes in Nigeria? Number 1 will be Northwest. Number 2 will be Southwest. So if I want to support the Igbo, then I would expect that number 1, the Igbo leaders will unite and present one candidate in APC, only one candidate in PDP. That's the first step. And this is an advice. Number 2 is that we will learn from the North how they play politics. In the North, every part of the North is regarded as the North. You will never hear where the North will say, oh, I'm rejecting Saraki. Today, Saraki is one of the most popular leaders from the North who is contesting with us. Yet Saraki is Oluwabukola, is a Yoruba man. The son of Oluwashola is a Yoruba man. The father of Oluwasheni, Yoruba man. The husband of Oluwatoyin, Yoruba woman. Yet the North accepts him. The South will never move forward for as long as we keep saying, I am Yoruba leader, I am Igbo leader, I am Southern leader. Today, I have the best platforms of all the contestants because I command 2 regions by parentage. My father is South from Edo. My mother, I was born in Ilefe from Osun in Southwest. It's a game of number. So for you to win, you must go and persuade the others. And you cannot tell them that whosoever you present, for as long as he's an Igbo man, will be accepted. Go and watch the tape by Nnamdi Kanu. I can play it to you. You will see that today, if I'm the president of Nigeria, by now the southeast of Nigeria should have a Silicon Valley. How many Igbo leaders are talking about that? How many Igbo leaders are even defending or talking about the rights of Nnamdi Kanu today, like I do? There is no week I don't talk, I don't interact. I interact with his lawyers. I speak to Ozekome, I speak to Ejiofor, and I speak to them and ask after his well-being. Before Governor Soludo went to visit him, if you can call Ozekome, you will see that I've made requests that I want to meet with him. I went to Kaduna to meet with Sheikh Gumi. I went to Cotonou to meet with Chief Sunday Igboho. So it tells you about a leader who wants to fix problems. I don't want to be a regional leader. I want to be a Nigerian leader. I will support tomorrow Peter Obi emerges as the presidential candidate of my party. I will support him with everything. But it is not an automatic support. So like Chifabella used to say in those days, you cannot shave a man's head in his absence. Let the Igbo leaders agree on one candidate from APC and one from Igbo land before you can now say Dele Momodu has no right to contest.
All right. This is most of the questions I'm asking you, of course, you should know, is coming from our viewers, and we asked them to send us some questions, so it doesn't reflect my personal opinion.
No, I told you I was ready to.
Yeah. So I want to play a video now and get your answer, because you talked about game of numbers, and I want to know how you think. Let me just play the video and then we get your reaction.
We will lead Nigeria the way we have led Nigeria before. Whether we are president or vice president or whatever, we will lead Nigeria. Not because we are better than anybody else, but because if you are doing a democratic game, the votes say vote who you want. We have the majority of the votes. Why do we need to accept a second-class position when we can fight for and get a first-class position? Why? Why does anybody need to threaten us and cajole us and intimidate us? If you don't bring the presidency here, you will see. Okay, let's see. We're willing to see. But when we get that power, in the name of God, be humble, because power comes from God. If they tell you the North must play second fiddle, say no. But in what game? Please, sir, what are the rules of this game? If the rules of the game say you should vote for the candidate of your choice, vote for the candidate of your choice. If they don't like the fact that it may be a northerner who will emerge as president, too bad. If we want to support a southerner, we will support.
All right. It's a game of numbers, and he talked about the North will not play second fiddle, second class. There are people like Sunday Igboho you mentioned. They complain that they feel that Yoruba, they are playing second class in Nigeria. People like Nnamdi Kanu that you mentioned, they feel that Igbos are not even wanted, not even that they are playing second fiddle. How do you, if you become the president, how do you change that perception? How do you
don't need to change any perception. It is because we don't have enough politicians in the South who have the guts to challenge fallacies. What the man is talking is speaking to people who are ignorant about the mathematics of elections in Nigeria. There is no northern leader today, be it Atiku, be it Bala Mohammed, be it Ayatuddin, or any of them, or Saraki, half as popular as Buhari was between 2003 and 2015. Yet Buhari lost elections 3 times, twice to Southerners, once to General Obasanjo and once to Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. So where then is that numerical strength he's talking about? Chief Obafemi Awolowo in 1979, had he combined well and effectively with the Owele of Onitsha, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, they would have defeated Shagari. That is why I'm warning that it's not possible for an Igbo candidate to stand alone without persuading the rest of the South and expect that he will win. It's the same way it is not possible. It was not possible for Buhari, and it is not possible for Rabiu Kwankwaso, who today is probably the most popular northerner today. It is not possible for them to win unless they persuade the Kanuris, the Fulanis, the Hausas, and then they are able to come down south to persuade the Southerners to vote for them. There is no monopoly of elections in Nigeria. Nobody can monopolize it. But the problem with the South is that because of their nature, they are looking for candidates whose message can resonate with them. They are looking for good character. A Southerner will not say, because you are my brother, I must vote for you by force. Even when General Obasanjo was contesting, he lost most of the Yoruba states because a lot of people were still angry about the military government and what happened to Chief MKO Abiola. So what Baba is talking about, I can tell you, is just to bully. He says they are bullying them. Nobody can bully anybody. I will not support. I've been to every part of Nigeria since I started my campaign. I've not bullied them. I've been welcomed with love. I just told you that I slept in the house of an APC chieftain, Kashim Imam Ibrahim, in Meduguri. When I went to Kano, the Rabiu family, one of the most prominent families in Nigeria, they welcomed me in their home. Everywhere I've been, people welcome me. I've met the Emir of Kano. I've met the Emir, the Sultan of Sokoto. So I've gone everywhere. There is nowhere I've been treated as a second-class citizen. It is how you present yourself that people will receive you. Simple simplicity. So when people say, oh, it's only the North that can continue to win. In fact, I have met Southern leaders who will tell me, oh, the North has to concede power Nobody gives you power on a platter. You have to go out and fight for it. Chief MKO Abiola defeated Bashir Tofa in Kano in front of his own house. It wasn't about money. It's about genuine love. And that is why I am appealing to PDP not to make that mistake. If they bring recycled politicians or hardcore, in fact, there is a new poll that came out today that majority of Nigerians, what they want today are not hardcore politicians. They are tired. In America, what led to the emergence of Donald Trump? It was because people were tired of politicians. So, and Donald Trump presented that face of a new technocrat in government. That is what Nigerians want today. I will send you that poll when we finish. This is something that is done by an international organization. And you will see that in APC, in fact, the top 4 people on that poll talked about, just a minute, please. Just a second. That poll, they talked about presidential, the title of the Presidential Competency Index. Age, education, experience, brand equity. And on that list, you will see number 1 on that list. In fact, the top 3, and I told all my friends in PDP this fact, they were not listening to me. Do you know who the top 3 people?
Let's hear.
They favored? Number 1, Osibajo. Number 2, Ben Ayade. Number 3, Kayode Fayemi. Number 4, Dele Momodu. You know why? Because people are tired. Everywhere I go, people will tell me, thank God, oh, someone like you came out, oh, but we don't trust your people to pick someone like you. Oh, you are too decent for Nigeria. So there is this mood of hopelessness in the country. And that's the danger. So imagine if PDP will go and pick someone who is nearer 80 than 70. If they go and pick someone they consider an illiterate, the young guys will not vote, especially in the South. They will not come out. This is my advice to my party. You can see it. The result is here. It's right here. I don't know if you can see anything. You can see them.
You can see them. Yeah.
You can see them.
I pulled it up.
Yeah, it's all about today. Nobody wants to do business with a politician who will grab power just to service his cronies and his family. Who is going to waste his time to go and vote for such a person? So yet, people are expecting that next week, the highest bidder will get the ticket. And I'm telling my people, collect your money back from the highest bidders. Because you know, nobody works for his money will spend money like rainwater. Collect your money from them, but vote your conscience and vote for the future of your children.
Now, I saw in one interview where you said that you identified one of the problems with Buhari is that he's not surrounded with talents. That if you were to be president, you will surround yourself with talents that are in Nigeria and use them. But Buhari had talents in his government. You know, he had someone like Babatunde Fashola who is there. He had someone like Kayode Fayemi who is there. And these are, some of them are your friends. Why did they fail under Buhari?
Number 1, ministers don't have executive power. And I can give you one of the reasons we don't have electricity. If Fashola would have done well, I went physically. I'm not a critic who will just sit down writing and talking on social media. I go to the root cause of the problem. I visited Fashola twice as Minister of Power when he was combining 3 ministries. And I wrote an article on the back page of This Day about one of my encounters. When people abuse him, I always defend him that stop blaming the wrong person. He does not have executive power. When he was governor, he had executive power.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Momodu. Let me play this because what you are saying is very important. Let me play this and then we'll get your reaction.
But I will try to be simple Power generation is not rocket science. It's just generator. So just remember and imagine that your I better pass my neighbor in 1 million times its capacity, but in one place. So if you can make that size of 1 kilowatt, you can make a power turbine of 1,000 megawatts. That's that simple.
All right. This is not, nobody told him to say this. He said this. So when people are looking at him and feeling that he failed, was it that he didn't know? Was it that he didn't know when he was saying this that he won't be able to do it? Okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you, sir.
Mm.
Let me tell you, sir. Before you get power, I knew that Buhari was lacking in so many things.
All right. Our guest is the internet is
Things. I
okay.
expect Buhari. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I did not expect Buhari
Okay. We're still having that problem. His internet is
Can you hear me?
okay. We can hear you. Okay, you are okay. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Hmm.
We have some interruptions.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
didn't expect Buhari to know so many things, even as president. When we supported him, we felt that in the days of tribulations, you run to the elders of the house. We wanted him to be a father figure, a Nelson Mandela option, but surrounded by younger folks, by cerebral gentlemen and women who will be able to assist him while we all respect him as an avuncular leader. So our support was based on the Oshibajos being able to rein him in, being able to assist him where he was lacking. The problem that a Fashola had will be two-pronged. One, he lacked executive power. Two, he has a leader who does not know and will not allow those who know to do it for him. In fact, a lot of ministers complained behind the scene that Buhari, you cannot engage him for more than 5 minutes. So when you have a man of few words, his taciturnity would work against him. Buhari is a taciturn leader who does not even talk to Nigerians. So I'm sure there are times he probably meant well, but because he does not speak, then people will think he's a wicked man. That's what happens when a leader does not talk to his own people. So I am telling you, because we should leave Buhari alone and project to the future, is that in a Dele Momodu, you will have a man who will not only assemble the experts, but will allow the experts to function. The issue of electricity is so vital. And I can tell you I've been involved in it because there's a president, an African president, who once spoke to me. I was visiting him. And he asked what was wrong with Nigeria, that Nigeria could not have electricity. And I said, well, I don't really know because we've tried everything. The money we have spent would have put up electricity in Japan and China combined. Yet we don't have electricity. He said, who is the minister? I told him. He said, can I call him? I called the minister. And the minister said, well, the biggest problem is not generation, it is with transmission. And the president offered to send a team that can help us. And the team came because I was the go-between. So I know what I'm talking about. After one meeting, we realized that the minister did not have the power to tackle the issue of power. Play on words. The minister did not have the power to tackle the problems of power. That was the end of the meeting. So one of the problems we must tackle, and that's why yesterday in my article, I wrote that when I become the president of Nigeria, a Peter Obi will be very good as secretary to the government. He once had Pius Anyim on that stage. Most people don't know that that's the engine room of government. Because until you are able to clean up the civil service, here is going nowhere. So you need very technical people like Peter Obi in that angle. Then you need men of courage. I mentioned yesterday that Nyesom Wike does not have to be president of Nigeria. As minister of power, because of his nature, he is a go-getter when it comes to projects. Nigeria will need someone that revolutionary to go into power. I have a fair idea of what to do about each and every one of the problems bedeviling Nigeria today. So that is what it is. Fashola, yes, ultimately he will take the blame, but I am giving the excuse on his behalf that if he had a leader, a boss, who was more proactive, look at health. Buhari was sick, they flew you abroad, you spent months. Was that not enough for you to make a simple research? I don't know where they treated him, but let me say Wellington Hospital in St. John's Wood in London. So why wouldn't you ask around? Call your health minister. Please ask, how much did it cost these people to build Wellington or any of those early street doctors? How much did it cost? So can we have one in Abuja so that I will not have to be flying every now and then to London or to Saudi Arabia like it happened in the case of President Yar'Adua? These are easy things. Dubai, we all go to Dubai today. Dubai had a dream that they wanted to build the tallest building in the world, Burj Khalifa. What did they do? They got the money ready. They had a budget, only $1.5 billion at the time. And they assembled, I think, about 55 engineers from all over the world. Wind engineers, structural engineers, electrical engineers, civil engineers, everything. And they built it. If you go there, you'll see their pictures on the wall of Burj Khalifa. If you don't have brains today, you can buy one.
Okay, let me follow up with this, the problem that Fashola encountered as a power minister. There are people who believe that Nigeria, the way it's structured, the way the constitution is written and what's in the constitution, that is totally impossible for anybody to become president and make any fundamental change in the outcome of things in Nigeria. That must be changed, the constitution. You have not become president. Are you going to now, say 4 years after as president, are you going to say, oh, my hands were tied by the constitution? Are you saying that the people who have identified the exclusive list, the things that states cannot do, the things that the federal government is trying to do but is not capable of doing it well, for instance, issues of state police, issues of power grid, are you not identifying these things? Do you think you can overcome them, and how will you overcome them?
I have addressed this with Baba Adebanjo and other leaders. Even when I visited our Igbo leaders in Enugu recently. There's no perfect constitution anywhere in the world. Even there are countries who don't have written constitutions. The problem with Nigeria is not the problem of paper. It's like blaming your computer for the mistakes that you have made yourself. Look, sir, the constitution of Nigeria as it is today is good enough, and where it is not good enough can be amended. And it is not the job of the president anyway to amend a constitution. And this is why I was blaming some of my Igbo friends. I said, look, you've dominated and monopolized that sector of the National Assembly. We've had fantastic people, Evans Zeweren, Chuba Okadigbo, Adolf Wabara, Nnamani, Pius Anyim, a Keremadu as deputy Senate president, a Hedewa, in the House of Reps. So how come they could not collectively and cumulatively do something about the Constitution of Nigeria? It's not the job of the president. The president is in the executive arm. He's not part of the legislative arm. So when we blame the Constitution, if you have the best Constitution in the world and you have a useless leader, nothing will happen. Look at what happened in America recently. Would you believe that an American leader will almost refuse to leave power? Would you have believed it? If I ask you the best constitution in the world, you will tell me American Constitution. So it's about the leader. It's not just about the paper. It is what you feed into your computer that your computer will bring out. It is how a leader uses the Constitution. Look, there is not even the Quran, the Bible that is so simple to read. Don't you see this? The various interpretations that people give to the Holy Book from God? If you bring 10 bishops now and say, let's talk about the synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, you will see different interpretations immediately. That is life. So it is about leadership. Number one, you need a very simple, very humble leader who is not coming to enjoy life with public funds. That's where me and Peter Obi were friends. A lot of politicians, I can tell you today, one of the reasons they will go against Peter Obi is that they are not ready to eat rice with one meat on it. They want to eat rice and have, if possible, the full thigh of a cow. That must not be allowed. And those of us who have managed people and resources in our private capacity were the ones who know that you cannot spend money like rainwater.
So let's say you are now the president and under this constitution, and you have to swear to support the constitution, to abide by the constitution, and the state governments are still complaining, which is across the board, that they don't have power, they don't have the constitution is a handicap for them to do things they want to do. What are you going to do? Are you going to insist that the federal structure should remain the way it is?
Never. I am a Democrat. I am a Democrat. Even in my office today at Ovation International, I've never asked anybody to join my party. If you feel like, join voluntarily. Look, if the people of Nigeria decide that that's why I'm telling you that it is not the job of the president. It's the job of the National Assembly. The problem we have today is that a lot of our leaders prefer to have rubber stamp assemblies. I will not get involved. I live in the same building with the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olumide Akpata. He knows me very well. I've been calling him that we must meet soon because we must be able to agree on some deliverables even before I take power. Nigerians must ask for deliverables. They must demand it. So you vote a man, and once he gets power, he doesn't owe you anything again. No, before he gets that power, this is the best time to ask for deliverables. ASU, let ASU, the next president of Nigeria, we are not going to vote for you. We're going to tell all lecturers and all students not to vote for you if you cannot sign a simple document for us that this and this and this. And so I started my politics from Labour Party. Maybe you remember. That was my idea, that we must be able to galvanize the workers of Nigeria under one Labour umbrella. But unfortunately, they didn't see that vision. That's why I'm back here. It has taken me almost 12 years now to come back. I had a clear vision about the direction Nigeria should go. But for as long as Nigerians continue to vote for the same people and they are expecting a change, then it means we're not serious.
All right, let me play a video of T.Y. Danjuma speaking recently, and I get your reaction.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits that kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
All right. I'm not sure if it's on your list of honors of Nigeria, but the history of Nigeria, you can say that he played a role in what Nigeria is today. But here he is, frustrated, basically giving up on all the things that he helped to put in place. Do you think that you want to go in, you want to go in as president and then come out to be like him? Because someone like Olusegun Obasanjo, for instance, is also feeling frustrated, but he had an opportunity to change Nigeria when he was there. Do you think we should deal with those issues first, or do we go into another election and produce another president who, after the term in office, we turn around and say, oh, these things are bad, terrible, what can we do? You know?
Well, let me tell you that yes, Lieutenant General Theophilus, Danjuma, Yakubu, that is the Y, Yakubu Danjuma, is a man I respect so much because of all the retired generals. He's been able to manage people and resources. He's one of the biggest employers of labor in Nigeria. If he's frustrated, I understand, but he has never been the president of Nigeria, so you cannot blame him totally for that. I think that the day you have a correct commander-in-chief, I brought out this picture to show you, because that is Dele Momodu. You can see me standing there like the commander-in-chief.
Mm-hmm.
This was in Liberia.
Oh, Liberia, not in Nigeria.
Not in Nigeria. This was in Liberia. I used to go to Sierra Leone, to Liberia, to interact with our peacekeepers. And I was particularly touched in Liberia, because Liberia, they don't have states, they use counties. In Liberia, they have 15 counties. And out of the 15 counties, Nigerian soldiers were controlling 10. And this is a war-torn country. This was a place where you had a lot of war. Yet, Nigerian soldiers were competent enough to control 10 out of their 15 counties. So what is wrong in Nigeria that we cannot control Sambisa Forest? What is wrong in Nigeria that Niger State has fallen in the hands of bandits? Zamfara, you go towards UB. The simple reason I am telling you is the mindset of the leader. If bandits feel protected by the leader, they will continue to misbehave. You will see that the day the bandits realize that there is a new sheriff in town, they will vamoose.
Are you saying that the Buhari is protecting the bandits?
The bandits feel that they are protected. If a child feels my father is not going to beat me, he will misbehave.
To the point that he will allow them to kill people in his home state.
Oga, I am telling you, you do not know the impact of ethnicity and religion on the country. All the countries that are falling into the hands of bandits, what do you think happened? Yemen, Syria, and all those places. This is how it started. Look at Egypt. Some years back, and I'm talking in the last 10 years or so, nobody wanted to go to Egypt again. Why? Because every day they had crisis. Bombs exploding everywhere, and they were destroyed. But today, people are going to Egypt. I want to go to Egypt. Why? Because one leader has emerged who does not accept the nonsense. Say, wait a minute, you can't destroy our country. Even if you are my son, you cannot come and destroy our country. That is the leader Nigeria needs today.
Are you going to be like Sisi of Egypt then? Is that what you...
I learn good things from people. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. I love to go to Kigali. I go to Kigali, Rwanda, if only to tell myself and remind myself that we must never go that route whereby brothers and sisters will be killing each other. I had a driver in Kigali who came from a family of 11 and is the only one alive. All of that 10 killed. And one of those who killed his parents was the father's best friend. That day I was in tears. So when Nigerians are saying we want to go, we want to fight, all the rich people will, if they can escape, they will escape, and they will leave those of us poor people back home. We never see war.
Now, you mentioned Rwanda is very interesting. I wanted to bring up the issue that Bola used to talk about Nigeria being on the road to Kigali. Recently, most people
I am praying fast. Yeah. So I am telling you that I will be a leader who will pick the best from every part of the world. If you go to Ghana, I like to talk about Ghana a lot. It's not that Ghana is perfect, but I see Ghana making effort. Number one, Ghana will never vote for an illiterate. Go and look at the caliber of those who have been politicians in Ghana. Just as one is leaving, you can be sure the opposition leader is as sound, if not sounder, than the incumbent. So Nigerians must agree that never again would they be governed. And when I say literacy is not about whether you have paper qualification. It's about having a complete package. You need someone who is cerebral. You need someone who has a knowledge of the world. You need someone who is cosmopolitan. You need someone who can speak the language of a modern world, and not someone that you will not even be proud to call your own leader. A country that produced the Chino Achebe's, the Wole Soyinkas, the John Pepe Clarks, the Awolowos, the Azikiwes. Go and watch the videos of Tafawa Balewa. Go and watch the videos of the Sadana, of Malam Aminu Kano, and you will see what we call sense.
All right.
Go and watch GFO in Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah.
Let me play this and then get your reaction, because this is you talking about the problem.
Buhari will spend 8 years and another northerner takes over. And there are too many problems already in the north. So let's shift power to the south so that we can look at things more dispassionately. Maybe part of the problem today is that it cannot be solved by people who were part of the problem.
That the problem cannot be solved by people who are part of the problem. When you look at Nigeria, what do you think is the major problem? Let's define it. I know in an interview you said it's about unity.
We all talk about problems. I talk solutions. There's no Nigerian, even kindergarten, who does not know the problems of Nigeria. Nepotism, selfishness, greed, corruption. All it takes is one reasonable, sensible leader. If you look all around the world, Singapore, they had their Lee Kuan Yew. It wasn't a mob that changed Singapore. You go to China, everybody talks about Chairman Mao. As a kid, we were all reading all those Chinese leaflets that they were sending. You go to Kenya, everybody will talk to you about Jomo Kenyatta. You go to Zambia, they will talk to you about Kenneth Kaunda. You go to South Africa, they will talk to you about Nelson Mandela. You go to Ghana, they will talk to you about Kwame Nkrumah or about J.J. Rawlings, but the days of military are gone, hopefully forever. So we need that man with the correct mindset that I want to succeed where my predecessors have failed. That's all. You have one in me. You cannot give what you don't have. When we were starting Ovation, we needed 150,000 pounds. We could only raise 20. My manager said, no, it will be impossible. But today, 26 years after, we're still standing and standing strong. Why? Because we knew how to manage. When a country cannot manage, have you seen a country that borrows money to spend on politicians? Have you seen any country like that? So that is the issue with Nigeria. The biggest problem is that one man. If you go into Achebe's book, either in A Man of the People or No Longer Artist, in one of the two, there was an interior monologue where the character was saying, where does one begin with the masses? Educate the masses? Not a chance there. Perhaps one man with a vision, an enlightened dictator, everywhere in the world, when change is about to happen, you need a man who is fair to all, who is nice, but very firm. I'm that kind of person. How come I've been in opposition with all the friends that I have in government? It's because I wanted the freedom to be able to speak. I have my books. I will send them to you if I know how to reach you. You will see that I've addressed most of the problems of life. That's why you see that I'm the only one who is not giving money to delegates. Everywhere I've been going, I've been giving books. I gave book to the Sultan. I gave to Babangida. I gave to Absalami Abaka. That's what I've been doing, so that they can take time to look at those books and see that there is this patriotic Nigerian who silver and gold he may not have, but at least it has the sense to know the solutions and is willing to not just be an armchair critic, but to be a solution provider. That is my job.
All right. Thank you very much. We are going to soon get our audience involved. They will come in and ask you questions. But before then, there is one last video I want to play of you talking about the heavyweights and what you expect the media to do.
Having access to government money does not make you a heavyweight. A heavyweight is a man of accomplishment anywhere in the world. You will never see any country in the world where they will regard somebody whose visible means of income is not known and they will call him heavyweight. In fact, as a matter of fact, I will implore our journalists to start distinguishing between the so-called heavyweights in terms of government money and heavyweights in terms of their sharp intellect.
All right. So I looked at the headlines of today's papers, and I wanted to get your take on that. One headline says, Bola Tinubu begs Governor Badaru to consider his age and give him some delegates. So Tinubu is looking for delegates. This is my question for you. I know that you are a friend of Bola Tinubu, and I wanted to know, simple question, how old is he? I saw a picture you took with him in London in the 90s. How old is he?
Well, I have no access to his birth certificate. Many of us were born without birth certificates, but I know that the last one we celebrated was Bola Tinubu at 70.
Yeah, and I know that you are 60. You were born in 1960, so you are 62. I mean, I'm 62. Is it? Yeah. Okay. So do you think that
I turned 62 a few days ago on May 16th?
Oh, happy birthday to you. Do you think that Bola Tinubu is your senior by just 8 years? Is that?
Oh, it's very possible.
It's very possible. Okay. All right.
I can't stage.
This is another headline I saw. I
have younger friends who look older than me.
Okay. Okay. So, that's okay. I'm not making up. I'm just trying to find out from you.
You are being very cheap.
No. I'm just trying to find out from you. This is another headline from today's paper. It says, Tinubu and Oshibajo should tell Nigerians how Alpha Beta was founded. This is by Bode George. You were a journalist for a long time in Lagos. Do you know how Alpha Beta was founded? And do you think it's important for people in Lagos to know this company that does business with them to have public knowledge of why, how, what they do? And do you think so?
I have not been an investigative journalist since 1990. I veered into entertainment journalism, so I may not be the best journalist to ask that question. I've read a lot of brickbats between Chief Bode George and Tinubu. So it's not, I don't know what's between them, but he's always said it. And I'm aware that some people have also written petitions to EFCC. I read all those things, but I don't know what became of the person. Maybe they were investigated and they realized that someone was crying wolf where there is none. So I don't know. I don't like to dabble into subjects that I don't understand. And I'm not a lawyer as well. I'm just an entertainment journalist, a businessman who is doing his business and minding his business.
All right. Before we have few people who are joining already, but one more thing, because you mentioned something that reminded me of this.
Fortunate that Buhari will spend 8 years and another northerner takes over. And there are too many problems already in the north. So let's shift power to the south so that we can look at things more dispassionately. Maybe part of the problem today is that it cannot be solved by people who were part of the problem.
It cannot be solved by people who were part of the problem. And there were so many problems in the north. What are the problems in the north? I'll ask this question because I have some comments from people who are watching, and they think that the solution to the problem is to separate the north from the south. What are the problems in the north that are not in the south?
You see, I quoted Mazin Namdekano earlier on. The reason why people want to separate from the north, especially southerners, they always accuse the north of being domineering, of being selfish, of harassing them, of terrorizing them, of not giving them their fair due, lack of meritocracy. People can go on ad infinitum. Right now. You see, but the day, as I told you, you have a leader who can regulate these things and strike a balance between the north and the south. All these things will go away. And that's why I have a lot of northern friends today who are even eager and they are begging that southerners are better managers of people and resources. They will admit it, they won't say it publicly. But I am telling you, and these are highly placed people, if you look at it today, some of Dangote's biggest investments, where are they? They are not in the north. His biggest investment to date is in Lagos. Do you think such a man would want war to break out in Nigeria? Abdulsamad Rabiu, who is one of the biggest investors in Africa, is from the same Kano as Dangote. Do you think he would want war to break? Look, I have interacted with business people. I'm a businessman myself. There is hardly anywhere Dangote has invested outside Africa that he has not invited me to see. So we need to build our country. War, let me tell you, one of the reasons some of those who oppose the separation do so is because if it will go like the way of Brexit, peacefully, nobody will oppose it. But if we are going to have to fight a war, it was the same Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma who warned that a country cannot survive 2 civil wars. So when you listen to the experts, they will tell you that the cost of peace is far, far cheaper than the price of war. So that is why a lot of us are pleading. What we need, where we are going, is not as far as where we're coming from. If Nigerians can just endure and vote for a reasonable candidate in 2023, I'm not saying all the problems will disappear instantly, but I can tell you that the process would have started. In 4 years, you can achieve a lot. I've seen it elsewhere.
All right. Let's hear from audience. I've talked too much, and let's hear from them and hear what they have for you. Joining us is Ovie. Ovie is in Virginia, I believe, and Jude. Jude is in California. Ovie, what's your question for Mr. Dele Momodu?
Good day, anyway, everyone. My first question is on sports. The Nigerian sports industry is not living to its full potential. Today we have over 12.3 million kids out of school. To me, I believe there's a direct correlation between that and lack of sport in our school, particular track and field. I'll be biased here because I was once a Nigerian track and field athlete. But other than that, when we have 13 point something million out of school, we have teaming Nigerian youth who are not doing it with the Nigerian sports industry. If well managed, capable of providing tens and thousands of direct and indirect employment. As President Dele Momodu, what will you do to revitalize the sports industry? I'm happy that we started the interview with the military industrial complex, if I use it that way. Do you believe that General Buhari is the last bus stop to the affairs of the generals who are actually controlling the country up to date, or we are going to see the emergence of Ibu Kuliamus, who also picked a presidential ticket from the APC, one, or the Konkoso, who was the former Minister of Defense. So then,
okay, no, that's enough.
As a PDP member, do you think it's a mistake for PDP to allow Konkoso to go? Because as we speak, the NNPP is not a third force, but a force come 2023. Do you think it's a mistake for allowing Konkoso to go?
All right. Thank you, Ovie.
On to him, I don't lose track, or you.
Yeah. You just answer him. Then the rest of them, I will have to limit them to one question, and then we take 3 of them at once.
Okay. So, on the issue of sports, when my policy document comes out, you realize that one of the areas by which most of our Nigerian youths can be gainfully employed will be of sports, in the area of entertainment, and so on, lifestyle. For example, publisher of Ovation, you will know that we've contributed immensely to the growth of sports. If you look at the Nnamdi Kanus, the Nwankwo Kanus, JJ Okochas, Finidi George, and all of them, when they were playing in Europe, we were able to multiply them by promoting them to the people. You know, somebody watching Nwankwo Kanu, for example, you get inspired. Right from the time he started his foundation, we've always promoted all of them, gratis, not a single penny. And all over Africa, Nigeria has some of the best talents that we can market globally in every field of human endeavor, including sports. But unfortunately, we have leaders, I don't know, maybe it's old age, maybe it's lack of interest, who don't see sports as serious business. In fact, when they send a minister to the Ministry of Sports, they will tell you that they sent him to Siberia. That will not be my case. I'll be personally involved in promoting it. And that is my job anyway, in promoting the best of Africa. So I can guarantee you on that. On the issue of the generals, my theory is that the generals only reluctantly handed over power in 1999. And that is why they did not look in the direction of Chief Olufalaye, but preferred a retired general. And after that, they picked the brother of a retired general, Yaradua. And if not for death, maybe another general would have taken over. I am praying and hoping and wishing that Buhari will be the last of the generals, so that they can leave the rest of us civilians in peace. And not just any civilian, we need technocrats who are self-accomplished, people whose jobs you can describe. If I ask you to name 16 or 18 of the governors in Nigeria today, you might have to struggle to remember their names. If I ask you what they did for a living before becoming governors, you will even struggle more. So these are some of the issues that we need to tackle. On the issue of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, he's someone I respect so much. I don't know what happened. I wish I had seen him. Maybe he would have been able to tell me why he had to quit PDP. But I think he felt there was an undue pressure on PDP to pick a particular candidate. And maybe he foresaw that it would be difficult for him to defeat that candidate in the primary. But if I were in his shoes, I think he should have tarried a little, because there is a chance for every one of us. Until the last minute, you cannot predict who will be candidate of PDP next week. That one I want to guarantee you. The owners of Nigeria too, they are tired of the trouble, and they don't want to go to their graves with the problems of Nigeria. That is my belief. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. For the rest of the people, when I call you, please make it 30 seconds. We want to get that to many people. Our studio is full of people, and we want him to also be able to answer and remember the question. So I'll get 3 of you, and then we bring in another 3. Jude, welcome to the show. What's your question?
Hello, thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Dele Momodu. My question, I have 2 questions. Just let me be first. Number 1, personally, I have lost faith in Nigerian election, and I've lost faith in Nigeria as a country. So the 2023 election, I have been one of the people campaigning against it, that people should boycott it. I know they will have a way of going to elect themselves and get themselves there, but we will see what happens. But let's assume your question, honest answer to my question, probably might make me begin to think otherwise, or for the benefit of doubt. Now, one of the questions I want to ask is this: should you become a president of Nigeria, what are you going to do to tackle corruption? Because corruption is the main problem, apart from the fake constitution, apart from the Ponzi constitution that Nigeria is running on. Corruption is another major issue about another major issue in the problem that Nigeria is going through today.
Okay, Jude, I have to stop you at 1. Let's leave it at 1, okay? Next time you have opportunity. Yeah, I'm sorry. Ralph, 1 question, please. There are a lot of people who are waiting, and we have to get to them, please. Ralph, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Hello, Chief. So my question is simple. You said earlier, you gave what amounted to excuses for Chief Fashola and Osibanjo, the Vice President. But doesn't that question show a little bit issues with your credibility? Because prior to the 2015 election, you campaigned for Buhari, even though based on his past records, everything that he has done today was there for those who know him to see. You could easily predict that he was going to do what he was going to do. So why should people not question your credibility on your choices or your choice making based on your actions of the past? Thank you, and I'll be listening.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think, Mr. Momodu, I think you can take these 2 so that you don't forget it.
Okay, thank you. To my brother Jude, who says he has lost faith in Nigeria, many people, even me, I have faith that can move mountains. That's why I still believe in Nigeria. A lot of my friends believe I'm crazy. How can you believe in a country that is irredeemable? But the truth of the matter is that I'm a good student of history, world history. And I know that there is no country that has not gone through trials and tribulations. And Nigeria is not going to be an exception. We are going through it. All it takes is for you and I to play our part. If you play your part, I play my part, and the right person comes in, then all these excuses will evaporate. But for as long as you are waiting for Dele to do it alone, you want me to go and contest against the principalities. Nobody is ready. Look, I asked people, I said, donate just 1,000 naira. If I had 1 million people to give me 1,000, that would give me 1 billion naira. People said, oh no, you want to be president, so go and. You cannot have such attitude. Even in America today, where they don't have our kind of challenges, people still make contributions. Politics is big time money guzzler. So this is the problem. But on the issue of corruption, you ask how we tackle it. It's by beginning with yourself. I've told you, I will sign up front with the Nigerian Bar Association and all the relevant unions that if any member of my family, including myself, should be found wanting, I should waive my immunity and I should be tried. Until you have leaders who can lead by example, you cannot curb corruption. But when people see that this man is ready to commit harakiri, if he makes mistake, then others will fear you. That is how to do. Then the other thing is to make sure that you reduce access to cash. They did it in Ghana. President John Dramani Mahama did it in Ghana. He's my very good friend, and I watched it and I saw that it worked wonders. Make sure they don't have access to. So everything should, now that we say we're a cashless society, and I saw that any payment you have to make to customs and excise, to Nigerian Ports Authority, wherever you are making payment, make sure that it goes directly to the accounts of, and then it cannot come out of the account by anybody just signing. On Mr. Raf, you said you question my choices. I agree with you. I've already apologized. I had 2 choices and I made one in Buhari. So that's one of the shortfalls of democracy. It does not guarantee good governance. It does not guarantee good leadership. So more often than not, people will make wrong choices. That is why you have elections every 4 years. And when I made the wrong choice, I quickly apologized. I followed another person the following election. That person did not win. So I have no idea if that one would have performed or not. And don't forget that you are blaming me for 2015. You forgot I contested in 2011. Did you vote for me? If I didn't present myself, then you can complain. Good people present themselves all the time. Omoyele Sowore is there. If that's your choice, why don't you vote for him? And why don't you support him? Even if it's $50, if it's $100, support him. I'm not saying support Dele Momodu. If it's Fela Drotoye you like, so be it. If it's Tope Fashua, so be it. If it's Alisa, you had more than enough choices. Now we have Kingsley Moghalu. The reason why you are not hearing much about Kingsley Moghalu is because he is not in one of the 2 mainstream political parties. That is just it. So please, let's stop saying I don't have faith in somebody. Some of us have tried our best. I've been in detention. I've been forced into exile for 3 years where I couldn't come back to my country. I lost everything I ever worked for at home. I have always been fighting for my country. So let's all play our part and fulfill our righteousness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Momodu. We have less than 4 minutes to end this, but I will say, if I call you, make it 30 seconds, please. Go straight to the question so that we get more people in. But Momodu, please write this down. There's a question from Emmanuel Temi Tope, who said that we have not been asking you very important questions, and he gave us his own, and that is why Nigerian government does not punish the criminals. So that's his question. So now I'll call you, Peter, to please make it 30 seconds. What's your question?
Yeah. So I will make it very sharp. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Dele Momodu, I greet you. My question is this: I'll be following you through Facebook, Instagram, every day. I'll be following you. I know that you have a very good plan for Nigeria, and you have very good structure, because I've been listening to you. I will say many Nigerians, many always say that Dele Momodu, he has a very good plan for Nigeria. It's good, it's vibrant, but the only problem they have is in the PDP, because you can see in PDP, you can see people in APC in the morning, in the evening, they wake up in PDP. So they will look you as one of them, a bet on the same feather. You can see Suore. I can remember last year, you invited Suore for an interview in your show. So I was there watching you. When you invite Suore for an interview, how do you lose Suore? Why can't you jump forth with Suore instead of you moving to PDP? And you know that Nigeria are tired of APC and PDP. Why can't you jump forth with Suore and see how Nigeria will support you people instead of going to PDP? So I need a very good answer, please. Thank you. That's my question.
All right. Thank you, Peter. I will call on Bolaji to ask his question, and then we will take the questions, and if we have time, we get to other people. Go ahead.
Chief Dele Momodu, my question is kind of similar to the last question, and it's going to be a little bit direct. I know you're a journalist, so pardon me. Do you consider yourself a serious contender in this election? And people that were supposed to say like supposedly thought force, why is it hard for you guys to come together? Why is it hard for you guys to be democratic? That you all just go and look for your own political party like Duro Toye, you, where nobody is going to challenge you. Eventually, you made it to the ballot box. At the end of the day, none of you is going to have to up to 1 million votes. Are you just wasting our time?
All right, thank you very much. So, Mr. Momodu, answer the questions, and then we'll see if we can get more from.
Most of it I've already answered, but I will answer them. The first one is about why Nigerian government does not punish criminals. If the first one is you're a criminal yourself, Nigerian government does or you plan to be a criminal, it is going to be difficult. That I can hear some echo. Can you hear me?
I've turned it off. Yeah, yes, I've turned it off. There's someone.
So if a leader is not sure of himself, if a leader is in power just to make money, if a leader is in power to sort out his family so that they can move from penury to prosperity, he can't punish anybody. I gave an example somewhere yesterday. I said one of the biggest problems why people cannot punish crime is because they themselves are going to call a civil servant, a permanent secretary, and say, please show me where the juicy meat is in government. So the moment you compromise yourself by talking to a civil servant to show you where the money is, if he gives you 1 billion, you can be sure he will take some for himself. That's how it starts. So once a leader can live above board, trust me, you will see that half of these things will disappear. So, and once you punish, look at Buhari, they say Buhari doesn't sack people. In fact, that is the image of Buhari. The Buhari that we knew before was Buhari that everybody felt was coming to fight and stop corruption. But these days, they were alleged that somebody, can you imagine ministers paying 100 million, serving minister? They are not even afraid of Buhari again. They are flying private jets up and down. Can that come from their personal savings? So that is how you know a leader. There is no way I'll be a leader. A minister will have the audacity, the temerity to say he wants to go and contest, will drop 100 million. Just like that, I will ask him immediately, where did you get the money from? They all declare their assets, hopefully, when they came into government. I will declare my own asset publicly and challenge anybody who knows otherwise to come forward. That's what leadership is all about. Till tomorrow, people are begging Buhari, come and tell us your asset when you came in. Nobody knows. They just said they declared his asset. That cannot continue anyway. So PDP, why PDP? The lesson I learned in 2011 when I contested on the platform of National Conscience Party was that unless you belong to either of the two mainstream political parties, you cannot win. You need structures. You need a lot of financial support. So, and it's only the big parties that have the structures in every state, in every local government, in every ward. That is the lesson that Donald Trump learned from Ross Perot, who felt he could be an independent candidate in America. And of course, he couldn't even make any impact. So Donald Trump was smart. He went in there. He knew he had the popularity, but he didn't have the structures. I have the popularity. I have, a face that is easily recognizable. There is nowhere I've been in over 60 countries on 5 continents that people have not stopped me, either at an airport or a train station. Even in the villages, I have on my phone an application. I have 66,000 applications from Nigerians in virtually every local government. They know me, but I need the structures for me to be able to reach them and win the elections. You will need structures for you to have party agents to protect your votes on the day. So if you waste your time to go and start in a new party, you will not even be able to cover one street between now and February next year. Just one street. It is virtually impossible. I told my good friend Donald Duke, I was his camp. I used to camp. I love that man so much. And I wanted him to be president of Nigeria. Those are my kind of president I want to see. But unfortunately, he went He said there was a third force. I told him it didn't exist, and you can see the results. So let's not belabor it. If you are popular enough, I've told Kingsley Moghalu, I've told Omoyele who read the same things. If you think you are popular enough, then carry your support and your supporters and proliferate the big parties. They already have the structures. If you believe that a party is not good or the party is populated by bad people, then carry all the good people to take over the structures of that party. Today, the Republican Party in America is beholden to Donald Trump because of his popularity. So if you are popular enough, you should not be afraid to go and fight like a big fish in a big pond. That's my response to that. Then someone asked if I'm a serious contender. I mean, with all due respect, give me some respect. At 62, there is nothing any governor, any former vice president, anybody has done in this country that have not done better. Today, in Chile, you have a 36, 37-year-old man as president. When Emmanuel Macron took over in France, how old was he? I've been in the system. At the age of 23 in 1983, I was a private secretary to the former deputy governor of Ondo State, when Ondo State was a combination of Ondo and Ekiti State. I've worked with some of the brightest, some of the biggest brands in Nigeria and in Africa. So if you ask me, am I a serious contender? What seriousness do you need from me, if I may ask? I'll be very glad to know so that I can then see. But I've done a self-assessment. And I know that today in Nigeria, I am a global brand. I've interacted with presidents. They don't have 2 heads. They don't have 4 legs. They are regular human beings like you. There is a war being fought in Ukraine today between Ukraine and Russia. The president of Ukraine came into power as a 30-something-year-old man. Today he is holding Russia. Let's stop making a fetish of leadership. Leadership is not about politics. It's about managing people and resources. What was Atiku before he became vice president? A customs officer. When Ribadu contested the election, he was a retired police officer. So you are telling me that a journalist who has accomplished so much in his career is not qualified, but a customs officer is qualified, a police officer is qualified, but Dele Momodu is not qualified because I'm not a big man. I gave this example, and it will be my last example. Yahya Bello was a businessman. Yahya Bello was born in 1975. That was the year I entered school SAT. My first school SAT was 1976. 1975, I entered school SAT. You are telling me that with everything I have done, if I was a lawyer, I would have been a senior advocate of Nigeria, maybe 2 or 3 times over. So I don't want to sound immodest, but since you want me to speak about my achievement, I can tell you, if you know anybody who has achieved more, I'll be very glad to know the person. I've worked all my life, but I've never stolen a kobo from government. I've never been a councillor. I've never been a governor. I've never been a senator. All I've done is to labor, to employ people, and to make sure that I provide opportunities for my fellow Nigerians and fellow Africans. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Momodu, I don't know if you still have some time. I know we booked you for 90 minutes.
I told you I was ready for you.
Okay, good. All right, I'm ready too. So let's keep going. All right, Roland, you can join us and you can tell us.
All right, I'm ready too. So let's keep going. Sure, I can join you. Can you hear me all right?
Roland, yeah. I think you have to unmute this echo from you.
Can you hear me all right?
Roland, yeah. I think you have to unmute this echo from you. Okay.
Can you hear me all right?
I think you have to unmute this. I'm so sorry. There is someone who has some of.
It's really making the presentation very bad.
Yeah, I know. All right. Let me come to you, Dominic. Dominic, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead, Dominic. What's your question?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So Nice to see you all. I know I've been very involved in the chat, and today is actually my first time showing my face because when it comes to Nigerian issues, I'm a very, very circumspect person. As a physician, I don't like showing myself in public. But Dr. Momodu, I appreciate you joining us this afternoon. I have a very basic fundamental question, which a lot of people don't ask. So you've achieved a lot in the private sector. I have so much respect for that. I know growing up as a kid, I used to feel very proud to have such a person who's doing a lot in terms of entertainment. With all due respect, I've noticed throughout your campaign, there's some level of aggrandizement that comes from how you speak and how you address certain political issues, and especially the way you throw around your affiliation with some of what I call destroyers of Nigeria or owners of Nigeria, however way people want to refer to them. Considering that you're in PDP, which is the party that destroyed our new democracy that we got from the military in 1999, why should I trust that you will serve Nigerians and not the stakeholders who are in the PDP?
All right, thank you, Dr. Dominic. Let me go to Kayode, and Kayode, after you, I will let Mr. Momodu to answer. Then we. All right, thank you, Dr. Dominic. Let me go to Kayode, and Kayode, after you, I will let Mr. Momodu to answer. Then we. All right, Kayode, I think the echo is coming from you, so you have to turn off your. Turn down your audio, please. I think the echo is coming from you, so you have to turn off your. All right, turn down your audio, please. I think the
okay.
echo is coming from you, so okay, of course. If you do that, maybe we can hear you. They try to figure it out. Let's go to somebody else. Mastro, can you hear me? Question for Dele Momodu. Make it quick. 30 seconds, please.
Much for giving me the can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to Mr. Dele Momodu for the first time in my life. I've been following him. I think he's a very, very intelligent man, and I think he's no doubt going to make a change if he becomes the president. Now, my question is this: most of us fail to realize that the problem we are facing with Nigeria now, the violence problem we are facing in Nigeria, is because the youths are not engaged. The universities are not admitting students, and when people eventually get into the universities, the school fees are too high. We've seen recently that the corona has given us another way of educating people without really going to the four walls of the university. You can do that online. So if you can do education online, most especially the Nigerian education that is just theory, not practical, why is it still expensive? Why are nobody thinking about giving everybody the opportunity of going to school and teaching them online, so that a lot of these youths who are being used for IPOB and all these other terrorists, why are they not put in school instead? Then you teach them. And this, have you seen the Nigerian education campuses, Nigerian university campuses? They are an economy. We can create campuses for A level, so that from there people like a prelim. So engage everybody, instead of letting them take JAM, and then the monies used for JAM are siphoned by one JAM registrar. We don't get anything out of it.
All right.
That is just my suggestion.
Thank you so much. I will let Mr. Momodu answer questions, but let me just announce for those who want to join us and they're in the studio, you have to turn on your camera, otherwise I won't pull you up into the studio. All right, Mr. Momodu, go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Dominic, thank you for your question. You spoke about my affiliations. I mentioned it earlier on. As a journalist, you must have affiliation to everybody. In fact, virtually all media organizations have their correspondents inside state houses. We don't. At Ovation, we don't. We don't have such affiliations. Number two is that despite my affiliations, I've been in opposition all my life. This is the first time I'm joining a mainstream political party, and I've explained why. I need a big platform. You cannot say you want to be president, then you're operating with a local political party that cannot win one street. So my affiliations has never disturbed me. It has never stopped me from speaking truth to power. Don't forget that politics and elections, they are games of numbers. And when you become president, you are going to govern over saints and sinners. You are not going to pack all the sinners and throw them into hellfire. That is not what democracy is about. So the only way you can accuse me of wrongdoing is if I have pampered them. I've done my job as a journalist. My job is to speak to everybody, whether you are a sinner, and the job of the prosecutor is to take over, and the job of the judge is to deliver judgment. So it's as simple as that. I am a reporter who has met everybody. Even in literature at the University of Ife, they taught us what they called in praise of name dropping, where you have to name drop. Which authors have you read? I've read William Shakespeare. I've read Chaucer. I've read Achebe. I've read J.P. Clark. I've read Mungo Betty. I've read Ngugi wa Thiong'o. I've read Ikweyama. It's the same thing in showbiz. Who do you know? Who have you met? Oh, I've met Dangote. I've met Adenuga. I've met the Queen of England. It's my job. That's part of my achievement. It's not everybody that has access to those people. So if you have it, it means that, number one, while you represent the masses, the big people will not feel intimidated about you. One of the reasons you will see that the system receives certain candidates is because they believe those candidates are coming to destroy everything. Sometimes there are candidates that appear to be vindictive. A lot of people were afraid of Buhari when he was coming, that the man will be vindictive. They didn't even know he will be this soft. You understand? So you cannot judge a man by saying, oh, you saw him yesterday shaking hands with somebody that you consider evil. No, that's not what democracy is about. Democracy allows you to treat everybody equally. Let the rule of law take care of everybody. A president cannot come and say, because I believe you are a thief, and then you just put him in prison without trial. No. You are not going to have such a president in me. I will make sure that the law enforcers are able to do their job. It's not the job of the president. My job is to run an efficient economy, make sure there is electricity in Nigeria, make sure our soldiers and our men and women of the armed forces can work well and effectively. That's what my job. I allow the legislature take care of the law, take care of the bills, take care of everything. And you allow the judiciary, please take care of delivering your judgment. That's all. Thank you. Then, Mr. Mastro, thank you so much for your generous words about me. I really, truly appreciate it. I wish every Nigerian would be as generous as you are. I would have won immediately. On the issue of ASU and the violence in the land, and because our youths are jobless, and look, there's nothing more painful than that. But I'm one of the few people who understand how to create opportunities. Every year, I make sure during the Ovation Carol in December, I'm producing people who understand how to create opportunities. Every year, I make sure during the Ovation Carol in December.
I'm so sorry. Kayode, this is still you. I have to remove you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Momodu.
Okay. So we make sure that we produce about 5 millionaire entrepreneurs. These are young people. All they have to do is present us with ideas of what they want to do. And then they give us the budget and we examine it. And if we feel on 1 million, that's the maximum we can give. You can do it. Then we'll give it to you. Otherwise, we may decide that, okay, it's only 250,000 you need and so on. So I know what to do. I know what to do. If we build an entertainment city today in different parts of Nigeria, there is no part of Nigeria where you don't have talent. You build entertainment cities, you build IT centers, this is what they are doing elsewhere in our neighboring countries there. It can be done. We have the resources to do it. And for as long as we manage our affairs frugally and we don't allow politicians to spend all the money of Nigeria on themselves, that will be done. So your ideas about online teaching, yes, I support it. Everywhere in the world it's been done. And we have vocational studies because it is not just about getting certificates for jobs that are not available. We need vocational studies so that if you want to do POP, you want to do carpentry, you want whatever it is you want to do, you can do it well. Today, a lot of Nigerians have to go to Togo, go to Ghana to go and bring artisans to Nigeria because even if there are jobs, the people who are available are not employable. So we must put an end to that. And the only way to do that is to make sure that it's not just about you going to university to go and collect certificates that are worthless, but to make sure that you be useful to yourself and to the society. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's see who we still have here. Roland, let me come back to you. Let's hope that your line is good now. What question do you have?
Sure. Yeah, there are two questions that I have for the honorable gentleman.
Can you do one, please? Please, we have more people who are interested in asking questions.
Yes, okay. In relation to the Fulani herdsmen who move around different territories of Nigeria, how is it that selling cows, and how is it that they're going to be taxed? Was there a tax system that's going to be designed in order to actually obtain the taxation from them? Since every other business in the country is paying tax, I think to be fair, I think they need to pay their tax too.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Actually, can I just quickly ask, if I may? Sorry, the idea that I have really also is that children and all this development, what are you going to help? How are you going to help children to get out of poverty and to improve their lives? You know, in particular, that too. If the honorable gentleman can answer that, please.
All right, thank you. Forefathers, I don't know your real name, but if you can tell us your real name and then you can ask your question.
Yeah, my name is. No, sorry, he was referring to me. My name is Josie. See, I believe that our country is being run like a caretaker government, like it's not founded on a solid basis. Our security apparatus is not up to scratch compared to any non-black country. If anybody takes a look at that, you find out that we are getting the security we paid for. We don't fund our security forces. One Nigerian soldier is meant to defend 1,000 citizens. Even the US has a ratio of 130 or so. One Egyptian soldier has to defend 150 people. Nigeria is almost 1,300 if anybody does the mathematics, and we expect magic to happen. We spend as much money going to watch movies than we spend on our defense. So the question is, are you going to look to increase the number of our security forces as to international standard? I'm not expecting exceptional stuff. To international standard for a self-respecting country like Nigeria to be able to defend its territory and its border. The NSA leader the other day literally considered that they cannot defend the borders. What are our young men doing? Secondly, transparency. Because this is the issue with most Nigerians. Nigerians hate the government right now. They don't trust them. They don't even trust you. Would you support so that public accounts can be made public, so that government accounts can be made public, so that people can subscribe to this account and see the transactions in real time, so that when they can, that way people can be able to trust the government and pay money into the government. The people right now don't trust the government, so they don't want to pay into the system. They don't want to pay for education. They don't want to pay for healthcare. They don't want to pay for security. I spent a long time asking Nigerians how much they are willing to pay to restore security in Nigeria. Not one person answered that question. Not even 1,000 naira they are willing to pay. Do you know that if every Nigerian pays 1,000 naira a month, that Nigeria can raise more than 300,000 soldiers? But we will not do that. We'd rather be paying ransoms and being afraid all the time. Thank you.
All right, maybe we can get one more. There's only one person left that is here to ask a question, and then we can round it up. MD, is that your name? Tell us.
Yeah, that's my name.
And then you. Okay, please.
Yeah, that's my name. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah, so Chief, good evening, sir. Ekurole. It's like the second time we're engaging. The first time was on Twitter Spaces, if you remember. So I'm joining from Birmingham, United Kingdom. Thank you very much for living a life of service and also for your consistency over the years. I wanted to actually let us start thinking about systems, right? Nigeria's problems are multifaceted. You know, one problem, they enter the other one. But I'm coming from the angle of technology, so that's what I do professionally. There's a lot that tech can actually help us solve. Most of our problems have common sense solutions behind them. Our housing, for example, we do not have specific numbering system that is consistent across the country. So when you have a system, a country like that, crime definitely, would be easy to commit and difficult to track, right? In the UK, for example, there's a postcode and there's a number, and everything is kind of very digital. So I want to ask you, sir, like moving forward, what's your digital roadmap? Because a whole lot of everything that everybody has talked about, we cannot do it the 1967, the 1985 way. We have to make sure they are internationally competitive and they are sustainable digitally, right? The other day, the government in place took a barrister, I would not like to mention his name, I made him Minister of IT. He has no idea what he was doing for 4 years. When things, parted, they took him out, put another, next to idiots in a very important ministry. These are the things. Will we continue, to compensate our friends and family and church brothers with very important offices that could actually change the face of the country? So I'm very interested in knowing your digital agenda, your agenda for technology, because that is like the framework, the backbone to pushing everything out when it comes to education, security, even feeding people today. You need to be able to track things. You need to be able to report. What are we going to do differently under you? Thank you very much. And that's my question.
Thank you so much. And I hope the weather is okay where you are tonight.
Yeah.
Now, we'll start with Mr. Roland, who spoke about the Fulani herdsmen. And he wonders if they pay taxes on their cows. I don't know. But under our government, we will encourage the states to function. You see, part of the problem is that there is too much concentration of power at the center. The moment you allow a true federalism to work, you will see that a state, maybe like Sokoto, where maybe some people refuse to pay, when they see the development going on in other places, they will know the reason why they have to pay. Someone already spoke about the problem of not trusting the leaders. One of the reasons why people will not want to honor their obligations to government is when they don't trust their leaders. The person said even Dele Momodu is not trusted. I don't know where you got that fact from. I was going to address that because I go out a lot and I meet young people. I interact. And as I'm speaking to you now, I can show you something that I'm alone in this room. I'm trying to turn these cameras around so you can see. I'm here in this room and I'm operating I'm a digital leader. I am not one of those lazy leaders who people have to do everything for. I'm doing everything from here. So it answers the next question about technology. A leader who is not technology savvy cannot appreciate the impact of technology. I spoke about having a Silicon Valley. There is no reason why within 6 months to 1 year, we will not have a Silicon Valley located somewhere in the Southeast where we see a lot of talents already. They are already identified. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and every day you see new inventions coming out, but those people don't have any dime to be able to develop their business ideas. So you need a leader who has gone through it. I went through it. I told you I had 20,000 pounds maximum as take-off grants when we started Ovation in London, when we needed 150,000. But we were able to survive. That's the Nigerian spirit. The day you have the right leadership, you will see that Nigerians can survive under any condition for as long as they can trust their leader. So, to summarize everything, so that we can all go back.
I said something about the size of the military.
The
Very
size of
important.
the
Without security, everything else fails.
Yes. No, it is not the size of the military that matters. Yes, we would have to employ more people because of the size of Nigeria, but we will rely more on technology. The military has gone beyond how many people you have. When America pulled out of Afghanistan the other day, How many people did they leave behind? Maybe maximum about 2,000 soldiers.
America
So
has 10 times more soldiers than us. 10
no,
times more.
Oga, you do not spend what you don't have. That's why I'm telling you, you are not going to change Nigeria in one day. Anybody who tells you, I will employ 1 million soldiers in one day is telling you lies.
Sri Lanka can do it. We can do it. We shouldn't be lying to our people. Sri Lanka can do it. We can do it. We shouldn't be lying to our people.
Dominic, sorry, not Dominic. Hold on, let me say. Please don't talk. Allow our guests to talk. If you need to talk, I can call you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Momodu.
Yes, I'm not one of those leaders who are desperate for power. I want to serve my country honorably and humbly. So I am telling you, we have to do stock taking. Nobody can come on air and be making promises. That is why APC was heavy on promises but low on deliveries. So I'm not going to make the same mistake because people are going to get angry. If I tell you A, trust me to be A. I remember when this interview was arranged. Yesterday, the organizers panicked and said, oh, they can't reach me. And when you got me today, what did I tell you? I said, once I gave you my word is my bond. I was ready. I was even in bed, relaxing. When they said we should do a test run, I did a test run from my bed. That's leadership.
That's true.
Leadership is about saying it and doing it. What the Port Harcourt people call otoknadu. So when I tell you this is what we're going to do, I have to also study the situation. So take it from me that we will do the right things. But today is not about your muzzle. This is not manual war. Military war is not manual war. Technology will play a role. One of the reasons why we're failing in our fight against terrorism is lack of intel, is lack of technology. America flew into Nigeria to pick one American who was abducted. They picked him and left. And I doubt if anybody, including our commander-in-chief, knew anything about it. So it's not about, emotion. It's about being focused. I'm a very focused person. Every day I deal with situations at work. People will call me and say, oh, there's a problem. The first thing I tell them is calm down. There is no problem. What is the issue? There are solutions to most problems. And when problems, then you've tried your best, then you will know other options to take. So don't panic. I guarantee you, I've been interacting with our soldiers and I told you how well they did outside Nigeria. So I know some of the things that are wrong with them in Nigeria. One, we don't have enough manpower. Two, we lack intel. Three, we lack equipment. Four, we lack incentives. I supported the peace move in Liberia and Sierra Leone. And that is why I can tell you on a lighter note that I became a chief in Liberia for promoting peace in Liberia. I'm the Kia Zulu of Grand Cape Mount County of Liberia. And I can assure you that if I could do it in other countries, I will do it in my own country. Thank you very much. And I hope.
All right. Sorry, Mr. Momodu. I was accused of not letting any female join us. So I had to challenge Temilola to join. They said I'm biased to men. So I will please plead with you to take two more questions. One from Ijoma and one from Temi, so that I won't be accused of this. And I'm
okay.
Women, I'm finished. All right, Temi, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Momodu, and good evening, everyone. My question is based on the database system, because no country can work without putting the database into use, because that is actually what binds everyone together. So why is it that our leaders are finding it so difficult in putting that in use?
Okay, thank you so much. Let's take Ijoma's questions so you can then answer them.
Okay, thank you for having me. My question is on Dr. Mahmoud. My question to you is, if you're going to be president of Nigeria, as you have been, a lot of questions has been asked. I want to ask you, have you thought about what is called diversity management, because I think today, from what I'm seeing in Nigeria, it needs a diversity management because of the ethnic groups, the religion, and people will think diversity is only when foreign people are living, but I think that's a major problem in Nigeria. I have another question for you. You have spoken quite a lot, and my question again is, if you're going to be the president of Nigeria tomorrow, what's your solution to solve the problem on the ground? Can you say something about it? And thank you.
All right, that will be the last question for today.
Okay, so I think the first person is Lady Temi. Good evening.
Yeah.
And I'm
Good
happy
evening.
finally to have a female speak. I can describe myself as a male feminist. I wrote my master's thesis on the oppression of women in Africa. And so you can see my background, where I'm coming from, and using the examples of Nawal El Saadawi in Egypt, Mariam Abba in Senegal, and Nuruddin Farah in Somalia. So I know some of the issues. I know that even sometimes women want to speak and they don't know how the male folks are going to take what they are saying and all that. So I'm happy that you finally spoke up. Yes, on the issue of the data, I agree with you absolutely that we must do something fast. I've always said it, that you will not see any first nation, any developed nation where there's no credit system. Nigeria today, I can't take, even at my level, I cannot walk into a bank, whether UBA or Zenith or any of the banks, and come out immediately with a credit card. And the excuse they will give you is that we don't have a data, we don't know we don't have your records, we don't know who is who. Something has to be done. Beyond credit card, today it is very important for an average Nigerian to have a home. You cannot take a mortgage. So that's part of what causes corruption. When people are forced to pay cash down for everything. You want to buy a car, there is nobody, not even the Prime Minister of Britain, can go and buy a £2 million home and pay cash. Or go and buy land in Banana Republic and pay 1 billion up front. Or you are renting a house. When I came to Lagos in 1988, I squatted with about 4 friends before I could rent my first apartment. I was a squatter, so I know what you are talking about. But if I had access to housing loans or whatever loans, then it would not have been that difficult for me. Then the landlord, the Shylocks, will tell you to pay 2 years rent in advance. Are you going to collect your salaries in advance? So that's where the issue of data comes in. Then for my sister Ijoma, diversity management. Of course, I'm a child of diversity. I mentioned that earlier on. My father is from Edo State, from a village in Owan East local government, and that's South. My mother is Yoruba from Bogon in Osun State. My grandparents were Muslims. My parents were Christians. I bear the name of Prophet Muhammad as my surname, but my father's name was Jacob. My own name is Joseph. So this diversity you are talking about are already embedded in one man, Dele Momodu. So that's not a problem for me. We need to do it, and we need to let people know that there is no problem with someone being a Muslim. There is no problem with someone being a Yoruba living with an Igbo. During the Civil War, we had a man in our church. We used to call him Baba Fine Face, an Igbo man who left Ile-Ife to go home, to go and fight the war. He came back. We kept everything intact for him. His property was intact. Why? There was love. And people were better informed. So you need a leader who will be able to interact with people. In Dele Momodu, you will have a hands-on leader. There is no way I'll be a leader on the road between Lagos and Ibadan Wood in the last 7 years. And this was a road that was even started before they came to power. And we are not able to finish it. So there are just too many problems that we need to deal with, but I believe we will be able to solve those problems eventually. I don't know if that satisfies you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Momodu.
Excuse me, Mr. Mashoud. You haven't answered my second question, and that was, you mentioned from the beginning solution. And that's also my own opinion as well, practical. Someone who is not, we're talking about problems. Everyone has been saying there's a problem, it can be solved. And you mentioned in in the beginning about solution. Yes, I live in Germany, and I mean, if you're gonna be a president, that's the question you have to answer it. What's your solution? You know the problem on the ground. You have already said there are people. You know the people who knows this problem. They know themselves. So if you know all these problems, what are you going to do? Where are you starting practically? Because what Nigeria needs today is someone who is going to practical part of it. Talking about problem, my house is leaking, there is this, and that's what is going on in Nigeria. But
Okay.
what are you putting on the table as a solution problem? Because you know where the problem is. Thank you.
Idea,
Okay.
for the past 2 hours,
Yeah,
people are throwing questions at me about problems in Nigeria, and I believe I've answered each and every one of those. So if you are specific about the problem you want to be tackled that has not been already asked and answered by me, I'll be very glad to do so.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Momodu, thank you so much for joining us today. You've exhausted, you've stayed longer than we agreed to, and we know that time is precious, especially for someone who is running a campaign. We appreciate you joining us today, and we wish you all the best in the campaign.
Thank you so much.
And for all those people,
everybody, good. Thank you.
Thank you. And for all those people who joined us, we really appreciate that. It's not easy to spend these 2 hours of your precious Sunday morning or evening, wherever you might be, to join us. We'll be back next Sunday with another guest. We are trying to get all the presidential candidates or aspirants to join us on this show. Once again, thank you, and hopefully you will keep watching the show. All the best.
Goodbye.
Okay.